Hi guys, in this video I'm going to show you my axes. I've had an axe for at least, well, I think 15 years now. I started up with seeing one that was dirt cheap and being a man, and then a bit younger I thought I want one. So I bought it. That was this one, and it turned out to be a shitty one, but still, pardon my language, I was very happy with it until I started to try to sharpen it, but more on that later. I use axes for my outdoor activities. Well, not the big one, but still. I use these two, and I take them with me backpacking or stuff like that to process wood, and I like them better than a large knife. First of all, a large knife is problematic here in the Netherlands and also in other countries, and an axe is in that regard a bit better. I also like the possibility of using some haft if I need to pound on something. With a large knife you can't do that, but using an axe or a large knife for wood processing, it's a personal thing, and my decision is that I'm using one of these axes. Okay, let's start out with the big one. I don't know what I paid for it. I do know I don't use it for processing wood, because it's one of the worst metals I've ever seen. If you try to sharpen it, not only does it produce on the sharpening stone, it doesn't only produce metal particles, but also a kind of waxy substance. And I believe this is some type of casting where, well, it's a French thing, but like NIM parts, MIM parts, I should say, metal injected molding, where they somehow use a waxy substance. And well, this axe, they simply got it wrong, and I keep it in the house for one reason only. If there ever should be an incident like a fire and I need to get out, I have a nice axe and I can get out. So, and why should you throw something away that has such a purpose? I don't use it normally. It's there in case of need, so I won't throw it out. I'll just use it if needed. As you can see, I've tried to get the paint off almost with a grinding wheel, and it just won't come off. It's what it is. The handle is some type of wood, don't know what. It's lacquered, that's fine by me. No moisture can get in, and when I look at it, it's warped. So that's okay. The head is held on with, let's see, yes, I'm in frame, with an epoxy and a pin driven in. As you can see, the epoxy broke out. If I remember correctly, it was loose, and I just pulled it out and I've thrown it away in the case of emergency here, and even some of the epoxy starts to come out now. But if I need to use it in an emergency, I'll take the risk. For normal usage, I wouldn't use this axe because the head might come flying off. It's a cheap thing, and yeah, let's put it over here, out of the way. My second axe I got, I guess, 2-3 years ago. And it was basically bought after seeing a couple of YouTube videos about the Gransfors Bruks and the Husqvarna axes, and I looked at Colin Outdoors' experience with his Husqvarna, and I thought, I want that. It was quite a bit cheaper than the Gransfors Bruks, and I checked out if there was any local Husqvarna dealers, so for the chainsaws, lawnmowers and etc. And there was one, so I called them up and ordered one. I even got two, returned one because, well, this is a Husqvarna axe, but it's not the one that Colin Outdoors has. If you can see the axe head, and this one has been sharpened quite a bit. I've put it into concrete one time, so I had to take off 2 millimeters, and it's well worn because of that. But if you look at the the head, you can see it's not a flat one. This is what they call nowadays the camp axe, and it is exactly as they state, a camp axe, but it's not a bushcraft type of axe. And let me get a microfiber cloth and clean off some of the dust that's on the head. Okay, it's a nice axe, but not for wood carving. If you order one make sure you order it with an article number. Check it out in the catalog and double check it, because what used to be the camp axe, as Colin Outdoors has it, is now this, and the other one has another name, and I'm not going to tell you because I ordered it by name and I specified which one I wanted, and I still got the wrong one, and I got it even twice because they double ordered it. And I decided, after buying both of them, because for the price point, it's a hand forged axe head with a very nice haft. I thought, well, I ordered them both, I want them both, but I returned one because it's just not the shape, and I would say in regards to a knife, it's not the blade shape that I like for what I intended to use it for, and that's also for carving. This shape with a thickening in the middle, so in this section, it's not a good carver. It's nice for splitting wood, hence the camp axe idea, but for carving and bushcraft types of things, it's not all that nice. It's a good axe, don't get me wrong. The handle is very nice. I decided to keep the wrong type of handle because of the accents. This is hardwood, half, I should say, the middle of the tree, and the rings are not all that well orientated, but it's a very nice coloration. So I thought, well, I'm keeping this one instead of the one with the better haft. But it's a good, very good axe, and for the price, I'm not sure what I paid for it, but it was less than half of the Gransfors Bruks type of axe. I'm very happy with it, and it came with a nice leather sheath, I should say, and I'm putting it on there because I'm putting this one away, because we're going to talk about this one for a moment. No, I'm not putting this one on the ground, so give me a moment. Yeah, that's a good place for it. This axe is very special to me. First of all, yeah, how should I approach this subject? I've watched a couple of videos on the Axe's Back project. Well, I don't know where it came from, Bushcraft forums I think, but people were showing axes and the ones they restored. And here in the Netherlands we have a day that's called Queen's Day, and that's the celebration of the birthday of the Queen of the Netherlands. So we have a royal house here, but on that day people go into the streets, put down stuff they want to sell, and it's called Vrijmarkt. So it's a big marketplace all through the city. And I went into the city and I came across this axe head. I thought that's perfect. The shape of the blade, it's still quite wide, but it's at least flat. So I can, and I haven't done that properly yet, but I can shape it as if it were a blade as I intended with the Husqvarna one. Like the Husqvarna, it has an inserted metal blade, hardened steel or whatever, high carbon steel, however you want to call it, and it has a softer, milder type of steel eyelet and pole. But the handle that came with it, and let me get it for a moment. One moment please. Well, I seem to have lost the original handle that came with it, but that was busted completely. I asked the lady who sold it to me how old it was, and since modern axes don't have an insertable blade, and she said, well, it's like 60 years old. Her mother tried to use it on a big tree, and then she told her mother, oh, don't do that. But it's an old blade, it's an old axe head. I got it rusted very badly. The eyelet was expanded because of the missing material from rust, and I put it in vinegar, cleaning vinegar, and I used not the standard process, but I used au bain-marie. So that's basically, I put the axe head in a container with vinegar, pure, what they call pure, that doesn't really matter, but I put that container into a larger one and poured hot water around it, so I didn't have to wait 3 weeks for all the rust to dissolve. In the first instance, the insertable blade went pitch black. This grayish color was on the mild steel. I cleaned it off, and over the course of, well, a couple of hours, I think it was in the vinegar for 4 hours, while being heated from the hot water around that vinegar containing container. In the end, it has a nice greyish metal luster. And then, after doing that, during this process I cleaned the eyelet out. I brushed it with a copper, filed the worst burr, the worst of the burr that was on the eyelet, and then I had to get a new haft. Now, this axe head was €2, and I think that's a steal almost. It's not stealing because I paid for it, but as a figure of speech, it's very cheap for the quality of metal I got, especially in comparisons to this thing. And even while that was cheap, dirt cheap in the bin of tools they sell at the hardware store that they want to get rid of. I now understand why, but in comparisons, this was a very good second-hand buy, third-hand ineffective. But I had to have a handle. And one of the problems with the Husqvarna handle I have had while using it is that the axe wobbles on the downswing, and when holding that axe it twists. So I'm doing that with my offhand, but it twists while going on the downswing. And to solve that, I made an octagonal handle. And let's see if I can make that a bit clearer. Yeah, a little bit less light. No, let's keep that one on. But if you can see it, first of all, you can see basically that it's not a rounded handle, but it has different facets. And I got that from another part of this tree. The wood is willow. It's I can do it like this. Willow isn't the ideal wood. Let's see if you can see any rings at all. No, not very well. But it's a very light wood, and if you can hear, it's a very sturdy wood in dry form. Let's see. Well, it feels very well, very good in hand, and because of the shape, it's also a nice pounding hammer. Well, axe. Don't pound too much with it because you'll ruin the eyelet, but still, if I need to pound on something, I can. And I shaped this handle by hand, most of it. The curves here and here I did with an electric saw, but that was not very efficient because I couldn't get the blade in any speed through the wood, because I don't know what type of willow it is. I do know it's an ornamental tree. It once was an ornamental tree because I got it as the complete tree. I cut off the roots and the top. The top was like 2 meters wide, and I saw that lying in the neighborhood here as rubbish, and I thought that's a very nice piece of wood for my axe head. So I took it with me home, cut off the roots, the top, and had 2 pieces or double the size, and made this handle from that. The axe head is secured on the I have to haft with a hardwood inserted wedge, and shaping this took, I guess, 2 days of a week. A complete weekend. It was a lot of work. First I removed the bark from the tree, cut a plank out of it, shaped the plank, made it level, then cut out these curves while maintaining the direction of the rings. So that's proper on this one. And then I shaped it in widthwise and here, and with the facets. And I did use an electric sander and a file to get it to this shape, and I'm very happy with it. For my hand, it has a proper grip. It's a little bit offset, but that's almost intended, not entirely. But I'm right-handed, so when I swing the axe, it comes down perfectly in line with my hand and my eye. So that's very nice, and it's an offset, I think, if you take this length, of 1 meter from the central axis of the axe. A centimeter. No, I'm sorry, millimeter. Yeah. So that's almost nothing. Now, this head is 500 grams. And the interesting thing about it, let's get that thing out of the way. The interesting thing about that head is it's a specific shape. It's a Francisca, and this shape has been around since the Roman times. The length, and I have to measure that to be sure. Yeah, it's 3 centimeters shorter than archaeological digs of these this shape with this haft have shown. Well, I'm not very clear at the moment, but the length of the haft is correct almost in regards to that. And that type of axe was a battle axe. It was used in Western Europe, and it was basically a farm type of implement they used during war, and then they would throw the axe at a certain distance from Roman soldiers and use it as a projectile. And I can understand why. The original ones had a 600 gram head. This is then 3 centimeters shorter in this length, but it's a very well balanced axe, and well, you can see what I'm doing with it. And during the downswing, especially because it's an octagonal handle, there is almost no wobble, and any type of wobble it's manageable. The Husqvarna axe, the head is, well, you can see here, it's bigger. Is that clear? It's more heavy. It's heavier, I should say, and it's one-handed. It's difficult to properly swing it. With 2 hands, there's no problem, but this axe can easily be handled with 1 hand. Now, this pole, I'm sorry, this is the pole. This little part is as a counterbalance for the blade, but the haft I custom designed for myself, and that is to be able to use it as a very nice carver. This one was intended as a carver, complete. It isn't a nice carver, but this one it is, with the flat blade, and by not working this width entirely through, but keeping, well, yeah, let's show you like this, keeping it like wide here, just wide enough that it wouldn't hinder any wood cutting or splitting, but in that regard I have firm grip on the axe head, and I can truly use it as a cutter. Yeah, well, to do fine work. I still have to make a sheath for it, and over time, when I sharpen it, I'm intending to make the cutting edge of the insertable chisel or blade, however you want to call it. I want to make that part that's exposed, I want to make it wider, so the angle will be less. That's what slides away. Now it's about this, and I want to try to get it to this, but I'm not willing to grind any material away, because that's just silly. Over time that will develop. Now this is interesting. With the curves that are here, if I hold it like this, it's very nice in regards to when it hits the surface. If I hold it like this, my hand fits very nicely and the orientation will be in the direction of my finger. And also when I need to hammer something like a nail, it's at a perfect distance, and it also is like, well, it gives you options. So in the Netherlands this is basically called a bokkenpoot. So that's a bok is I don't know how you call it in English. It's not a sheep. It's a ram. Yeah, a ram's feet. Not a sheep ram, but the other one with the rounded horns. If I remember, I'll annotate it in the video. But that's the design, and I'm glad I spent the time and effort in getting this haft the way it is. It's, yeah, it's very nice. Okay, as with my knife, well, my opinel knife, I use a Belgian Lump, so Belgisch Brok in Dutch, to sharpen it. In conjunction with with this leather strap, I use oil on the metal part and also on the haft itself. But on the haft I also use wax. Did I use it on this one as well? I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah, I think so. Candle wax and oil to make the classic type of preservative for the head, and it's keeping very well. Yeah. So these three. Yeah, you can see the oil here. So these three are my axes. And to be frank, I'm most happy with the oldest and yet the cheapest one. Not in time, because carving this handle took very long, but I wanted it to be an octagonal handle. I had willow wood that I thought was perfect for the job, and that turned out to be very good for this job. And I wanted it to fit my hand perfectly, and it does. This part, by the way, is quite squarish, but that also guides the downstroke. I don't have as much wobble, and that's very important for me. So I hope this was an interesting video. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments. I have the intention of using this piece of wood to revamp or renew some of my hammers. I have a couple of hammerheads that I'll be treating in the same way, and if it's interesting, I'll video it so you can see the process I use for cleaning up rust from the metal with vinegar and water around it so it's heated. And I'll perhaps make a video on carving the handle for those hammerheads. That will be less time consuming than this because of all the curves and the angles. That will be basically straight shafts with also an octagonal handle shape, because I'm very happy with how this works, and normal hammer hefts handles are rounded, so you basically get the same problem, that it wobbles a little bit. and this is better for me. So if that's interesting, I'll make a video of it. But getting a find like this on in the second-hand market, on a market, in the street, I don't know where you go, Goodwill perhaps even. It's fun, it's a fun project, so it's a recommendation I can make to everybody. I guess that's it. Have a great day, and I'll see you during the next video.